Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to rank and photograph every saloon in Red Dead Redemption 2 online. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of my favourite games to ever come out, but when I first played, I barely used the photo mechanic. That changes today. We'll visit every saloon, capture their atmosphere and rank them based on their photogenic qualities. Let's get into the video. Today we'll start in Tumbleweed. My first impressions as we ride in here is it's, well, very dusty. You can feel that there isn't much going on here. So let's park our horse next to these and get a better feel. Clearly, the other horse was feeling quite upset about our arrival. It seems that in this place we've already managed to piss off the animals before even people. I'll start by walking around the saloon to get a better look of the building itself. The building itself looks run down as the rest of the town. The paint is peeling, the vibes are shaky, but hey, the day drinkers outside seem unbothered still. This will be the perfect shot to capture the atmosphere of the building. As I take each photo, I will attach the picture on the screen to appear just after the photo is taken. This guy was friendly enough to even give us a hello, so we'll take a photograph of him. I actually quite liked how this photograph came out. The colours in the photos do come out different to the game, but they're quite cinematic and I think they look great. Inside, we're greeted by an enthusiastic pianist and a few lone drinkers using their free time creatively. The vibe isn't that cinematic in here, but this window did catch my eye. So I snapped a shot of the view outside. Feels like a glimpse of freedom from this place. Downstairs was pretty boring to photograph, so I made my way upstairs to see what was going on up there. After investigating, I found a suspicious reinforced door, a secret poker room, or just a place where the lowlifes go to waste their money. Fitting that category, naturally I had to join in on this game of poker. I bought my chips for a shocking $25, which according to Google is the equivalent to $950 in today's money. For a saloon in the middle of the desert, this made me feel very uneasy. Being the pro poker player that I am, I went all in with a pair of 8s. I thought I'd won, but obviously the guy in the ginger beard here got 3 of a kind. So I'm now down. I wasn't going to take that, so I took the next round carefully, won my money back that I had previously lost. Now I needed just one more big hit to leave the table for the dopamine or something, so I made a max bet because I had a 7 high straight. Apparently now my Red Dead money from this game of poker is worth the equivalent of $1,186.37 in today's money. I took this as a good opportunity to leave this table. Overall, I'm going to rank Tumbleweed a 4 out of 10 because it was terrible to photograph, but the secret poker table room was a very lucrative experience. Our next stop is the town of Armadillo. Apparently there is some weird curse on in the town, so I was a little nervous for this one. Arriving in the town, the atmosphere was moody and there was nobody about. The saloon appears simple and lifeless, literally. So I entered inside and nobody really says anything. I noticed this oddly intoxicated fella chilling on the floor. The interesting things to photograph here appear to be the strange people. I figured the upstairs may be more interesting, but to my not so surprise, there was more intoxicated people sulking on the floor. This lady was a step ahead because she decided to pass out on the sofa instead of the floor. Armadillo scores a sad 2 out of 10. The vibe was worse than an Old West hangover, but at least the passed out locals gave me something to work with. By the time we make it to Blackwater, it's now daytime. However, I've heard good things about this saloon, so hopefully that shouldn't affect it. The outside building is sophisticated. The building is even made from brick and has a huge glass window. How modern. As usual, we'll take our first photograph of the outside of the building. The saloon also has proper doors. It feels nice to touch a real door. As I enter, the atmosphere is much better. Live music and even a howdy from this day drinker. The building has interesting things to photograph. My first notice was the glass window from the inside, so I captured the view outside. from the inside. Lots of light reflects against the walls in here, which also makes good subjects to photograph. Upstairs, the open space and natural light even added more photogenic opportunities. I even managed to grab a beer. It was decent by saloon standards. So overall, Blackwater scores a 7 out of 10 for me because I liked the atmosphere and it did have a few things that were fun to photograph. Arriving in Valentine, everything feels more alive. Maybe it's the greenery or just the contrast after being in the desert. Arriving outside the saloon, this place feels so much more lively. Outside the saloon though, it wasn't that interesting to photograph. However, I did notice that the signage outside said barber. I can drink and get my hair cut. Funny how the modern day devolved. Inside there were so many people, so I ended up photographing mostly them. Maybe there was too much going on that there weren't that many photographs to take. The ladies seemed more interested in my character in this saloon as well. Maybe this is the place for hipster photographers from the end of the 1800s. I decided that that was enough and I took my leave. Overall, I rate Valentine Saloon a 6 out of 10. There was a lack of fun things to photograph here, but for a saloon, it was very lively. Next destination was Rhodes Saloon. I'm getting the vibe that this place is the Wild West version of gentrification. I wonder what these two guys were talking about. At night, the building looked fantastic, so I snapped a photo of it lit up. I decided that I would return here the next day to photograph in better lighting, so I took some time off inside to relax. Obviously, the best way to relax is to head straight to the bar and knack every single bottle of whiskey. The bartender was skeptical about my choices, but he didn't stop me. I proceeded to black out and find myself in a nearby field. I decided to gather myself back together at my camp. When I got there, apparently my camp also became gentrified because it was in the middle of the land of one of the plantation owners. At camp, I changed my clothes because I thought they stunk and took my horse, and then I went back to Rhodes to finish photographing the saloon there. In the daytime, you can really appreciate the decor of this place. I'll admit, the almonds helped cure my hangover. Who knew that Rhodes was ahead of the curve on health snacks? After some fuel, I noticed a light coming through the windows and the decorative seating areas, so I took a few photographs. I explored the other rooms here and found this bedroom. I wanted to take a mirror selfie, but apparently that wasn't invented yet. Back in the main room, there was also a dude cleaning the floor. I photographed him at work and the woman curing her hangover. The upstairs was just as good. This saloon, you can apparently play blackjack, just not today. The outside seating area reminded me of a gentrified Weatherspoons. It actually took a very nice photograph though. I really enjoyed photographing the saloon here, so I rate Rhodes 9 out of 10. The next two saloons are in the city of St. Denis, so me and my horse took the road to the city. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm sure the environmental agency would not be impressed with the colour of the water by this bridge. The city is massive and will definitely be my next Red Dead photography project. However, today we need to photograph the saloons here. I arrived outside the first saloon and the building is the most impressive one I've seen yet. I figured this place would make better photos at night, so I decided to take a day trip around the city. I took a ride on this thing called a tram. Funnily enough, it dropped me outside another saloon. This must be the ghetto of St. Denis. I photographed the outside, but it wasn't that interesting. I entered inside and my first impression was that it was very small. The green lighting is nice, so I took a few photos that I'll show you here. I give the Ghetto Saloon a rating of 3 out of 10 because there wasn't much going on here. My time in here was short, so I still had some more time to complete my day trip of the city, this time using my horse as a means of travel. I decided that clothes shopping is what people do in cities, so I entered the tailor's shop. I wanted to buy this lice comb, but apparently it was just an advert. I also couldn't afford most of the things in the catalogue here because the currency is gold bars. In the end, I settled on a beanie, a pink shirt, and a black vest. This feels more like what a photographer from the 1800s would wear. By the time I was done, it was now getting darker, so I had to go back to my photography job. I headed straight inside the saloon, and I was somehow recognized. It must be the new clothes. This lady flirted with me, so I took her photograph. The roof was interesting, so I captured that. And this piano player here was good, so I also took his photo. Upstairs, there were objects which looked interesting to photograph. I took a picture of this telephone, which ended up being my favorite photo of the job. When I left the building, the lights were also all on outside, so I took a photo of that too. I rate the gentrified saloon of Saint Denis a 9 out of 10 because the lighting was good and I took my favorite photo here that wasn't of the person. We have one more saloon to visit, which is up in Van Horn, so I set off into the night to get there. As I rode into Van Horn, the place felt eerie. The outside building, I quite liked it. It was made of stone, which was new. Modern day America should take note of this. Some dudes were outside, so I took a photograph of them. I also liked this sign up here, so I captured a picture of that too.
Hey, handsome.
Inside, I'm greeted with a, "Hey handsome." I'm not sure why everyone is so obsessed with my character. Am I the most famous photographer in the Wild West now? I guess so. This guy was somewhat relatable, so I took his photo with him not knowing. The lighting was very ambient in here, and the space was quite interesting compared with the other saloons. I took some general photos of the place, which I'll show you here. However, the bartender was a little rude to me. I understand it though. So I took my leave. I have to give Van Horn's saloon a rating of 8 out of 10. I really liked the space inside, but a few drunks dampened the vibe. We've seen it all, from dusty day drinkers in Tumbleweed to gentrified Weatherspoons in Rhodes. Truly, the saloons of Red Dead Redemption 2 are an experience. Just maybe don't let the bartender catch you taking mirror selfies. We've photographed and ranked every saloon in Red Dead Redemption 2 online. Each one has its own unique character, and I hope this inspired you to explore the game in a different way. Let me know in the comments which saloon is your favourite, or if there's another challenge you'd like me to try. Mine was in Bustle's saloon in Saint Denis and the saloon in Rhodes. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and hit that notification bell for more gaming, photography and challenges. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.